Hey everyone, welcome back to Fast Charging with Bear.
And Brian.
This is our first episode. Hopefully, we are not going to have any technical difficulties. Brian and I are going to sit back. We've got a couple of topics to talk about. We're going to talk about Nikola. We're going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about Hertz. We're going to talk about Rivian. We're going to talk about semi trucks, and maybe even Harley Davidsons. I don't know. Uh,
Who knows, man? Maybe even SpaceX might get an honorable mention. Some
Space,
big news on that today.
SpaceX should always get an honorable mention. Maybe
So
that should be
before
a
we get
thing.
started, before we get started, let us know in the chats if you can hear us, because we are shockingly simulcasting on both channels at the same time, which is I don't know, kind of cool, kind of weird, kind of different.
Kind of scary. We tried this on Tuesday. We had a couple technical difficulties, but we think we're working past that, and that's why we want some feedback. Make sure everyone can hear both of us, not just me, because we got to hear Brian too.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I could be heard this time.
Oh,
Although,
uh,
when you look this good, do you really need to hear me?
oh yeah. Well, like I said, just turn off the volume and just look at him. Yeah,
And by the way, on my chat, everyone is saying sounds good, sounds good.
I just got from Frank that they can hear us, and we can talk about Lucid too. Uh, Frank is a big Lucid fan, and we could have some mentions, and we'll definitely take questions from what we know. Though I think Frank may know more about Lucid than I do, because
Wow. And I'll tell you, seeing the some of the test drives this week, I'm starting to become a fan of Lucid too.
you like the way everything looks there with that car.
Well, out of spec motoring goes real deep. He's got some, he'll test the creep, he'll test the regen, and for a first offering, it is rock solid. Is the assessment. Now these aren't overnight, or this is just a quick drive, but great.
Yeah.
So first topic, Bear. Let's get started.
First topic is I wanted to share with everyone. This is my 8-month anniversary of having my Model Y. We're within days of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see what I have for how many kilowatts I've used, how many miles I've driven, and what that costs me. And some of it may be a little bit hard to believe, but I can explain it. So we're going to flip over the main screen. And what I have on here, if you guys can see this is a little spreadsheet I made with my miles driven. And it may look a little small here. See if we can increase that zoom a little bit to say 125%. Maybe we'll go up to 150. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. So I've had my Model Y for 8 months. Got it in March. That makes 8, unless I'm corrected. Uh, 20,154 miles in 8 months. I have I never reset the trip meter, and it says that from the day one, I have driven 20,154 miles. I've used 6,256 kilowatts, and I put next to it the cost of what gas is today. I know gas has been going up, and it hasn't always been this, but it's also more in some places, less in others. So I use what the current price of gas is today. Now, also because I have solar panels, I have a program with my service provider where I am only paying 4 cents a kilowatt on off-peak times. So we took the kilowatts that I've used, and we've times that by the cost of my electricity, and I have spent for 20,000 miles $250 in electricity, which
Say
is
that again.
two
$250 have given
$250
you
20,000 miles. And that's not even, there's some other factors. Like I did use a supercharger numerous times, and that's going to increase that. But at the same time, some of those kilowatts I supplied myself because I have solar panels. But because I have a solar panel plan, I'm only paying 4 cents a kilowatt. I only charge at night when I'm sleeping, like filling up your gas while you're having a dream about it. Okay, so $250. That's it. What did I trade in to get my Model Y? I had an Escalade. So that's next up on this list is the Escalade. That got about 15 miles to the gallon. And if I had done the same 20,154 miles, I would have needed 1,343 gallons. It just seems like a phenomenal amount of gasoline. Uh, so over 1,300 gallons of gasoline at $3.50 a gallon. That would have cost me $4,702.
So that would basically be like 4 tanks of gas would be 240.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, so in essence, yeah, I've used like 4 tanks of gas to drive 20,000 miles.
And what's amazing is if you look at the charts that show the efficiency by different electric vehicles, Tesla still leads the pack.
Yes, they do.
They're getting more miles to the juice. And that's, a bit exciting.
The only exception to that might be Lucid, because their core efficiency is now rated better than Tesla. Though there is some debate with Warren, and you actually brought this up to me once, Brian, regarding what size battery pack is actually in that car, and whether it's a 115 or whether it's a 140 or a 135. I forget where it came out to. And if they're actually using 135 pack for the testing and then actually putting in a 115, that's actually, that's going to be fraud. So I think there's something got missed in the translation on something there, and I think it's got to be what they're saying it is.
Lucid is not super forthcoming with a lot, and that's why I.
Wait a minute, are you saying they're secretive?
I'm saying they're secretive to a fault. I'm saying if they weren't secretive, I would have invested, but I don't invest in black boxes. I need to know what's inside.
Are you saying that the landscaper did not inspire you with confidence?
Yes. Yes, the landscaper.
Yes.
That was a pretty fun day.
That really was. It really was. Okay. So on this little chart, just to finish this up, so we don't spend all day on this, I did do some other comparisons. I did a Prius, and I spelled Prius wrong on purpose because I've got dyslexia, so that makes me do things on purpose. It's not a Prius, but the Prius gets 52 miles per gallon, give or take. So the gallons used would have been 387 gallons, giving us a total cost of $1,356, which still, the Model Y saves you $1,100. By the way,
and it saves you the humiliation of driving a Prius.
Oh my God, yeah, that's, you know what? Let's just change, add another $5,000 onto the savings right there.
Well, but really, there is a fun premium that people would pay.
Yeah,
people do pay to have fun cars, and imagine that, having a fast, fun car that's cheaper.
If I had a Prius, I would have to spend another $100 to get the front windows tinted so that people couldn't see me. So it's on my windows aren't tinted in the front of my Model Y because I'm not embarrassed to drive it. But if I did have a Prius, and I'm sorry anybody who has a Prius, I don't mean to insult you. To do a further comparison for what's going to be down the line with the Cybertruck, the F-150, the Ram, the Silverado, they're all about 17, 18 miles to the gallon. I've got it here on the chart. We're talking about 1,100 gallons of gas used for the F-150 and the Ram. Silverado coming in a little bit less. You're almost at 1,200 gallons. You're still looking at $3,600 worth of savings to $4,400 worth of savings by driving a Model Y. I know you can't get the same capability.
It's not a Ram or a Silverado.
It's not, but we could probably expect to see something very similar with the Cybertruck as far as what you're getting on your miles per gallon, your MPGE. I know it's going to be a little bit less, and the capabilities are a little bit different, but I really didn't have a problem going from my Escalade to my Tesla. I know I gave up some seating, and I gave up the length, and I can't tow as much, but I can still tow a little bit with my Model Y, and I have towed with it, believe it or not. That was very easy, very easy. So just wanted to show everyone, share that, how much money I saved. And if you calculate that out per month, by the way, I don't know what 44 divided by 8 is, 4,400. I could never do that math without getting my calculator out. But it seems like it's a lot of money per month, doesn't it? You don't know it either. You don't know it either.
So let's talk about this exciting bit of news. The electric semis are coming.
Electric
Schneider will
semis.
be one of the first to operate the fleet of them. So the e-Cascadia is rolling out. There's going to be, what is it, 50 or so by the end of next year. And this is happening. Yeah, the e-Cascadia EM2.
And that's a Freightliner, huh?
Yeah, it's a real Class 8 truck. They're going to add 50 battery electric trucks to its Southern California operations. Oh, that's a different one. Great. Oh, theirs will be a mix of Freightliner and Volvo trucks. So the electric big rig game is afoot. It is happening. And it's going to be it's about time. Uh so what do you think of the fumes from being behind trucks?
I love it. It gives me such a good high.
Yeah.
Uh,
And what I also love is living within even a mile of the freeway at night because
you can hear them.
you can hear the compression brakes, even though it says don't use them in town. They do. And the noise needs to go.
Yeah.
The
They're,
noise needs to go. The
they're,
fumes need to go. The idling trucks, the refrigerator trucks idling for 12 hours while the driver gets his legally required break, that's ridiculous. That's got to end. So that's very exciting.
I think that's going to be a really good improvement on lifestyles of people, especially people who live near freeways. And
Absolutely.
I just had a bug fly in here. A
Nice.
large
I had a
bug.
bird fly into my office the other day. A
Yeah.
bird.
Yeah. I just had a bug fly in and then it flew out, which is really weird because the door was closed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's just further proof the simulation is not working correctly.
I heard that what did I read, that the simulation was going to reset when Tesla hits 42 6 was it 42 690
420,
420 669
something like that.
yeah, the simulation was going to
420,
reset.
90. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. We don't have good information on it.
Okay. Oh,
But yeah,
real quick, going back to someone had asked on my comments about the Model Y and what does it cost. My Model Y, I think when I got it was 52,000, but now it costs more because the price
right,
has gone up. So
right.
besides not losing too much money on depreciation, my trade-in value is actually more right now because I've done it just to see what the values of them are, and I still get back, oh, your car's worth more than you paid for it. So
Yeah, and that's pretty wild. I am starting to wonder if I will ever be able to get a Tesla because right now my income doesn't justify it. Even though you just, well, yeah, dollars and cents though you can get all of it back, right? Right, but I don't have it. So, and I'm worried that the price will keep climbing, and that by the time the cheaper ones come, if FSD is here, at one point Elon had said we're not going to sell cars to consumers anymore.
yeah,
We're just going to own
yeah, the
the
robotaxi fleet.
global taxi fleet.
Yeah. Uh, Mopar Dan has asked me, aside from Nikola with trucks, where are we at with automakers adding hydrogen fuel cell to their lineups? Is Toyota still pursuing this? I believe that there are a couple manufacturers pursuing it. Helion, if I'm saying that right, is pursuing hydrogen trucks, and I believe there's at least one other one. Hyundai might be pursuing them also.
I feel like there's a couple different companies in Asia. I think it's Toyota, and it might be Hyundai also, that are looking into it or taking small steps in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know why, but go for it. I guess.
It makes sense on the long range as opposed to the short range. Sandy Monroe did a whole video on it. I agree.
Right.
Agree with him. The battery electric is going to be great for short hops, but to get the real long term distance with what we are at with current charging times, you can fill a hydrogen truck up in 10 minutes. Where a battery electric, where you've got 1,000 kilowatt battery pack, where we're at now,
Well,
it's still going to take some time.
but I haven't seen those companies targeting that market. They're just building cars, giving people that flexibility who don't necessarily even need it.
That's true.
So if we're doing it for a purpose, do it for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, before we get to our next topic, I'm gonna bring up Brian's homepage. This is his homepage. So you guys, let's subscribe to Brian. Let's
Oh,
see. Let's see how many people from that are followers of Bears Workshop could go ahead and shoot over there and get Brian's. Go ahead and subscribe to him. Help support his channel. Help support our channel, because we can keep doing this if people are going to support us both. If only one of us is getting supported, then the other one's going to, flip the other one off and not come back. So,
and I've gone ahead and brought up yours. Yeah, I obviously am not subscribed to Bears Workshop. It's not my
he's
thing.
blocked. I blocked him a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah, that would be. Yeah, we don't. We just don't get along. I'm more Tesla. He's more Nikola.
Nicola?
If I'm being
I'm
honest, he's
everything.
more Edison,
Edison. Yeah. Packard.
which would be
I,
Packard.
yeah, Packard.
And for
Pack-
anybody tuning in late, this is a weird simulcast podcast that isn't yet available on all your favorite podcast players. But we'll work on that. We'll work on that. That's something we need to do,
All
I
right.
guess.
And let's go to our next topic, which
Mm-hmm.
today was Nicola Day, not Nicola World. That never happened. But Nicola announced her earnings today,
Mm-hmm.
which, no surprise, there was no earnings.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a surprise, but they shot up today. Their price went up, and it went up a lot. When I say a lot, I'm not talking 20 cents, not talking 50 cents. It went up over $2 a share today. And there are several reasons why I think. One, they said that up to 25 BV trucks are going to be delivered today. Or not today. Today. No, before the end of the year. Now, I'm gonna I read words carefully when I see something like this. Up to 25. Well, up to 25 means one.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they did not miss. So I don't know if they carefully phrased it that way. And I'm hoping that they didn't, and I hope they get as close to that 25. So
It looks like they just ordered the trucks from Iveco, or however that's pronounced, and that's not difficult. They should be able to get that done. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing in there. I don't know what's going on inside that building.
I think I got a pretty good idea. Um, they are building these trucks. I do see these trucks roll out. You've seen my videos.
Right.
We are seeing trucks coming out of there with electric platforms and with fuel cell platforms.
Right.
So they are hand assembling. That is exactly what they said they were going to do.
Right. But the vast majority of the truck is made in Europe, shipped over, and then electrified.
It is, well, that's what they're doing. It's basically an electric conversion at this point, and it's going to be a fuel cell conversion. And
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other things that need to be changed, and I'm pretty sure that they're doing something with software for what's going to be for the cabin. And something tied in. I have not heard anything about autonomous or even lane keeping or anything like that. I haven't heard anything about that. And there may be things like that in the future. I just don't know yet. I'm not in the know on that.
All the new players are real big on pushing their vision for autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have the same goal, because everyone has the same goal. It's tough. It is tough. It is so far impossible, and it will remain impossible until it isn't. So whether they announce their intentions or not, we know what their intentions are in terms of autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
It's to get there.
Yeah.
It's to get there.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Nikola has stopped over promising and under delivering because that was a little bit of a problem for them in the past. But
Oh,
that, yeah,
was it? Oh,
oh
I
yeah,
must have missed that.
yeah, wake up. So,
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
another thing that I think helped their stock price today was that they have reserved $125 million to make a settlement with the SEC for what Trevor had done in the
Hmm,
past,
hmm,
and they've put that money aside.
hmm.
And they have also said that they are going to go after Trevor Milton for that money and any other
Oh
legal
wow.
expenses that they've had.
Oh
So
wow.
the fact that once they come to an agreement with the SEC, they have now put that part behind them. The Trevor thing means even less if they've settled with the SEC and the SEC has said, okay, well, we've completed our investigation with Nikola. We're slapping you on the hand with a $125 million fine. If the government finds Trevor guilty of doing what he's been charged with, a legal action from Nikola against Trevor Milton is going to be that much easier for them to get those costs back.
Sure.
And
Sure.
it puts that mess behind them, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were some honest folks who got real burned by him. And the company as a concept is fantastic. And the fact that he worked so diligently to screw it up, boy, I'd really like to see him held accountable for what he knows perfectly well he's done. That's just who he is, though. That's just if you look at Trevor's history, that's just who he is.
Yeah. Well, my drill sergeant used to tell us everybody's good at least at one thing. There's one thing. Trevor Milton was good at screwing up companies, and that's what he's good at. So, you
Mhm.
know, maybe part of his agreement, whatever he does, should be that he's not allowed to have a business anymore. He needs to get a job at McDonald's after he loses his shares. Who
Well,
knows?
that's what happened to what's her name from Theranos. Is
Hmm.
she's not allowed to chair a company because you just can't be trusted. So one of the other things we wanted to talk about, and by the way, welcome to everyone on the streams. Yeah, got a few. How many you got, Bear? I got 46 right now.
Oh, I'm struggling along at 16, but
Yeah, that's great.
yeah,
That's great. So, Tesla superchargers opening up to non-Teslas. That's a gonna be a awfully big deal.
yeah.
That's a gonna be pure money. You figure now you've used superchargers. How many of them have you been to that were full when you went?
Well, um, let me count. None that I
Oh
can.
wow.
Yeah, none. But I've heard there's an issue with that in California, and there are some supercharging stations that are just more packed than the ones out in the desert that I go to. And on my long drive out to Austin and then back, we had a lot of middle of the night kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have come pretty close to having to wait, but we have not had to wait yet. And I could see that happening. My issue as a Tesla owner is, first of all, I'm all for it. I think that it should happen, but we need more supercharging stations. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying don't do it right now. Do it if you can do it. But I've seen pictures of cars already parked sideways,
Mm-hmm.
non-Tesla cars, trying to get the
Right.
cable to where they need to get it.
Right.
Um, you
Right.
also have the way the chargers set up. They put them on the driver's side of the parking spot so that they can have the shortest possible cable. So
Right.
if you've got a Mustang and you charge on the front driver's side, you have to pull into the spot over, which is meant for a different charging station, and now you're taking up the wrong spot. And
Wow. So the way it works is when you pull up the app, which let's say I've got a Chevy Bolt, those are hot right now. It'll give you a list of the superchargers
yeah,
that
that
are
was
available to you. So I assume the busy ones will be grayed out and that you can only go to the non-busy ones. Now, if you so you can either pay a small profit, or you can pay a subscription fee. It's about $15 a month to pay what Tesla owners pay. $15 a month. That's a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about in 10 years time, there's going to be millions of electric non-Teslas, and the supercharger network is a moat. This is going to be a profit center, and that will allow faster expansion of the network too. But could you imagine if even just a million subscribers, that's 15 million a month in new margin, high margin revenue.
Yeah. I think the revenue part is great. I think the other issues that are going to come up out of this, and it's not just what kind of charging port you have, but going back to what I was saying about a Mustang that pulls into a spot and they have to park at the wrong spot, are now actually taking up 2 spots because you cannot put a Tesla into that spot because now the cable is not going to reach. So one
So what I
Mustang
understand
takes 2.
is that the adapter is uh, longer. So it's not
How?
just,
It's going to have to be the length of the car, the length to where it
well,
goes to.
maybe it is. Maybe it
Maybe,
is.
maybe,
Yeah.
but that's something that needs to be worked out, and car manufacturers need to get together and get the same cables, sort of like Apple trying to change the cable world 16 different times, where they had their Lightning and their Thunderbolt and different cables, and it was just a pain in the ass to everybody.
Well, if you don't know the why Tesla uses a proprietary charger, it's because the CCS standard didn't exist yet. It was the only real charger out there was the Chatamo that the Leaf uses, and it's just not capable of delivering the kind of juice that's necessary. So they kind of had to go it alone. And then, of course, a standard, beta, it was better than VHS, but it ultimately lost the war.
Yeah, yeah,
And at this point, retrofitting a globe worth of superchargers is going to be, it's going to cost a couple dollars and
yeah,
take a few minutes.
yeah. It is, it is.
And by the way, somebody said a little bit ago that the fuel cells might not be critical because for charging times, for fueling times, because the 4680s may change that.
They
And we'll
might.
probably know in the next couple months, which would be just cool.
Yeah,
That would be,
and you gotta, as a manufacturer, you gotta have that forward looking thinking. I don't know if you ever heard of Motorola with their Iridium satellites. They had this.
oh, her, it's familiar, but no, what?
Okay, so Motorola, not thinking of the future, they had a satellite program with Iridium, and I don't remember what the number. It's what their element number is. It's like 66 satellites or something like that. So they called it Iridium, and they were launching these satellites for global cell phone use. And by the time
Mm-hmm.
they manufactured, paid for, and built all these satellites and then launched them into space, the technology had changed because it was done by analog instead of digital. So they were so far behind that everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
If it was
Mm-hmm.
digital at when they said, okay, well, by the time we get this done, there's going to be a better technology.
Yeah.
It failed completely.
Wow. And what an expensive failure.
Yeah.
Because up until recently, launching satellites was ridiculously expensive.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Wow. So why don't we talk about space real quick? Mm,
Space. I heard that there's going to be a SpaceX launch soon.
yeah. SpaceX Crew 3 astronaut launch for NASA delayed by minor medical issue, which they hasten to point out is not the Rona.
Yes.
So hopefully this will happen on
Now,
Saturday.
I haven't checked to see if they've changed the dates on this, and I actually pulled up this page a day or two ago. So if
Mhm.
this has changed, I'm not. I don't have an update on it. But
Yeah.
this is their 4th time sending crew out into. Is it 4th or 5th? Because Inspiration counted, and then you had the 2 guys on the demo. You had demo 1 or demo 2. where you had Bob and Doug or something, and they were in the first launch, and then you had Crew 1, Crew 2, and then Crew 3. I'm not sure. I've lost
That
count
sounds.
because it's
It
coming.
sounds right.
Yeah, it's becoming so commonplace. And then there's the inspiration launch, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's hard for
And
me to keep track of that. But I know that there's been so many launches now with people. You know,
right.
if
And
you want a job
the
done, private industry.
and the billionaire haters, oh, this is just they're just getting rich so that they can so billionaires can go to space. I hasten to point out Elon is probably the only billionaire capable of going to space who hasn't.
Yeah,
And I mean, he could have gone to space. He could have orbited years ago. But
yeah, he could have gone on the ISS.
yeah, and as a shareholder, I am. I don't want him to get on a rocket. I think it's a very wise move that Bezos stepped down from Amazon before, risking his life in one of the most dangerous endeavors known to man. Um, that's, I don't know, man. It's crazy to think that when the shuttle was retired, we didn't have a replacement. We hired Boeing and this little scrappy company called SpaceX, and SpaceX won. They beat them. Boeing still has not gone to the space station, crewed anyway.
No, they haven't, and it's kind of embarrassing. But there's so many issues with NASA telling companies, okay, build this and just tell us what it costs, and we'll write the check, because that's what it pretty much comes down to. Where I don't see SpaceX doing that. Uh,
Right.
they're giving bids and they're fulfilling those bids, and that's the way it should go. I mean, if Boeing says they can do this for $2 billion, and then they come back 5 years before they're finished, so well, we're gonna need more money. You're like, no, you're done. We own the
Right.
technology because
Right.
you have to pay us back.
Right. So, by
And
the way, Marcus Miller has said in the chat it is delayed to not earlier than Thursday the 11th. So
okay,
still soon, and it's going to be a 6-month mission for them. So, you know, uh,
how many
yeah,
hot pockets do you have to bring with you?
um, yeah, right. For 6 months
Yeah,
for a whole crew. That's why you send up the cargo dragons too.
with hot
And by the
pockets.
way, how cool are the outfits? Elon's really got the whole, retro futurism thing going on.
He really does. It does look
The
like it was
towers are
taken,
beautiful.
because
The cost,
you look at that and you go, well, how can that actually function? That doesn't look like it's going to hold air. I'm not sure that it does. Are those pressurized
oh
suits?
no, those are flight suits.
Okay,
They're fire suits.
they're fire suits. Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say they don't really look.
Although the
So what's
helmet
the
does
helmets
look.
for?
No, those must be. Oh, depressurization. So maybe they're also pressure suits,
So they are
like
pressure.
like an altitude suit would be,
Yeah.
like the one that everyday astronaut has, which has almost killed him on more than one occasion, literally,
I,
because they're not toys. Uh, yeah, yeah. Boeing still hasn't fixed the 737 either. That's a great
I
point.
thought that
Thank you,
was
Jeff.
fixed. I thought that the 737 Max. I thought that was back in the air.
Is it?
I
It's.
thought it was, but wow, why did that even happen in the first place?
I can tell you, for money.
Well, yeah, because there was no one to
That's
charge
it.
more for. They couldn't.
Well, it. Yeah, they wanted to keep adding bigger and bigger engines, and they didn't want to redesign the plane to hold them. So, yeah, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I think I saw.
Dumpster says protein bars. It's not hot pockets; it's protein bars.
Can you nuke them?
I don't. Do they have? They must have a microwave up there.
Yeah, you know
Think
what? If going to space meant that I had to eat protein bars, I'll probably never go because I just can't do them. I
Mm. So Marcus added the reason for the delay at this point is due to the weather in the abort corridor, because they're
is
well,
there? Yeah,
you have to have a safe recovery zone in case of an abort.
right. But we're 2 days off. Is there a storm coming through?
Uh, yes. I don't work here, so
All right.
I'll defer to the experts.
Yes.
Should
Uh,
we talk about the pain,
the
the
pain.
Hertz?
Oh, the Hertz. Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got me on
Not
that
all my
one.
jokes land. They're not meant to. So, yeah. Elon pointed out we don't have a contract. It's not signed. And Hertz is like, right. We just kind of went to the website and started ordering cars, though, bro. You
Could
don't
you,
need a contract if you're paying full price.
right? Could you imagine that job? Just given a clipboard. All right. We need 50,000 of that color and 50,000 of that color, all black
Oh no,
interior.
I'm sure they're
Just
all pretty white.
yeah, well, they're all going to be white. Yeah, that's true. Um, all white, all black inside. So
Right.
no option. Okay, can I just hit the refresh button?
So yeah, we got an order last night, Elon, for 100,000. I'm gonna call the guy. It's clearly a mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
what
know
I
that
heard,
if there was a
yeah.
quantity tab on the order page, that would be good because someone could just come in and just be like 100,000. Click once. How would you like to pay? Well, here's my credit card, and
It
just
it cleared. That's a little weird.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's and the whole Hertz deal is exciting, and they've said that they're probably going to increase the order because the early response has been fantastic, and a lot of people, like I believe Warren was one of the people who said this. Warren Redlick said, "I don't use Hertz, but I have just signed up for their you know membership, whatever their profile."
yes,
And a lot of people have said, "Yeah, me too, me too." And if Hertz can see this response and they can see that the ones they've already taken delivery of, I'm sure, are getting
hmm
booked. So it is, I mean, the reason it took so long to do this is because they won't get a discount.
they tried.
Uh,
They probably tried.
well, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure. And I'm sure companies have asked in the past, and the answer has been, I'm sorry. It's not like it's not like how they bought Pontiac Aztecs for super cheap because there was just parking lots full of them, and the only person who wanted to buy one was Walter White.
yeah. He used
Yeah,
that bro
so
pretty good. I think they killed off the last remaining 10 Aztecs filming that show. Um, but
so yeah,
the thing is, if I go into Ford and I want to buy a Mustang E, a Mach E, or whatever it's called, they're gonna stick their $10,000 price additional markup on there. But if I sit there long enough with the right dealer and say, "Come on, I'll finance it. I'll buy the extended warranty. Just sell me the car, and I want $5,000 off MSRP." Eventually, one of them's going to break down. Volume
mhm,
dealerships just will sell these things. Sells me
sure,
the car, I can get a discount. I spent a lot of time at dealerships getting discounts on things in my life. A lot of times. Um, so anybody can get a discount from any dealership except for Tesla, Rivian, Lucid. These guys are taking orders over the internet. There are no discounts. So why should Hertz
right,
get a discount? Because
right,
when it
and
comes
they
down to it, it undervalues the market. It undervalues the resale value. That's one of the maybe that's one of the things that helps keep Tesla's resale value where it is that you can't go in there and buy it $5,000 off like you could
right.
any other vehicle.
Well, and an absolutely beautiful thing is uh, these are gonna not only are they gonna hold their resale, but as if supply can catch up to demand, we've got $5,000 or $10,000 we can drop the price just to get it back to where it was a year and a half ago. Um, that's just pure profit based on ridiculously strong demand.
And
And the fact that Hertz is going to take every spare unit they can build is not going to bring the price down for everybody else.
no,
That's faux show.
but you know what will bring the price down? And Hertz can still get this price discount if Tesla decides to lower the price. When I had ordered my Model Y, a week after I ordered it, they dropped the price $1,000. And I saw it online. I was like, oh my God, did I order at the wrong time? And I went and I logged into Tesla and they dropped $1,000 off my car without me even
Oh,
saying anything. I was like, that's awesome. Thank you for
Let me see
that.
a dealership do that.
Oh God, never, never, never. And before the car was delivered, I think the price went back up. They didn't raise
Hmm.
the price. I mean, it was in February of this year, and the price was just fluctuating all over the place. So they gave me the discount. They did not give me the increase, and I'm like, I literally just saved $1,000 by buying this car the day that I decided to buy it. But so
Wow.
Hertz could literally save $100,000 if they lower the price just for the week. But if they lock in
Sure.
on what it's at least they're not going to have the price increase.
Well, and the thing is, when it comes to economies of scale, if they could get $5 off, that's a $500,000.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, by the way, anybody who has questions for us, we've got, I think, one more topic we're going to go over, and then do some Q&A at the end because we're going to get out of here at 5 pronto and promptly. Not pronto. I'm trying here. I did not drink my coffee fast enough, so now it's cold, but I'll drink it anyway. Um, and a quick thank you to Anthony and Bradford who dropped me super chats. I appreciate that, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I will thank you on behalf of Brian. Thank you for dropping that super chat for Brian.
Yeah, yeah. So, if there's any questions, by all means, get them in. And Bear, are we going to talk about the Harley Davidson electric motorcycles?
You know what? I had a meeting with a guy earlier today, and on the back of his truck, he said, "Loud pipe saves lives." He had one of those bumper stickers. And you know what that's in reference to, right?
Yeah, yeah. Potato, 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 potato.
Yeah, the louder the motorcycle, the more likely you're going to hear it. Though I don't think that's
Right.
how sound works. Because
Well, sound. I mean, there is a reason they put noisemakers on electric cars below certain speeds now.
yes,
Um, but uh, I've never met a Harley owner who appreciates the loud pipes for any reason other than they like the sound.
yeah,
It's
because
why the internal combustion Ford pipes in motor noise.
yeah,
Which, by the way, if I buy a car and you're piping in extra sound, stop that. I don't want more noise. I want less.
please make it louder than my radio. That's what I want.
Well, I just want, if we're going to have the noise under 20, 30 miles an hour, let me select my ringtone. I want maybe the Jetsons. I want maybe TIE Fighter. I want maybe, there's a lot of great sounds out there.
There are, but I don't know if there's anything that I'd want to hear consistently on a long drive,
Mm, mm. Yeah, I think you would
unless it
start
was
having.
random, like a random Tie Fighter, a random fart, random noises. What's that?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Just a protracted sound of human gas. That'd be. So, police are using Harley Davidson's electric motorcycles in Glasgow. How cool is that? I didn't even realize that these were available at any sort of scale. That's just neat. Just neat. Uh, yeah.
so what's that
Uh,
range? 150 miles on that range?
ooh. Yep. Livewire have a city range of just under 150 miles for a bike. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah, that really
that's
is.
more than a Harley would normally get.
Isn't that more than Arcimoto?
Way more, way
Yeah,
more, vastly more. Yeah, I had fun on the Arcimoto. I would not be interested in owning one,
yeah. For
but also I live in an area where
yeah,
it wouldn't make.
for the viewers on my channel, Brian did a video or tried to with Arcimoto and driving that around a couple months ago. So if you want to see that, take a look at his channel at My Tesla Weekend and look at his Arcimoto video.
Yeah, and it was. I did make a video. I did get to talk with them. Um, it just kind of wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know. I don't know. And boy, I tell you, whenever you criticize any electric company, boy, do you get heat for it. boy, do you get heat for it. It is painful.
Fanboys.
Well, yeah. Um, one guy was furious at me and said, "Oh yeah, well why don't you go down and drive one?" And I was like, "You didn't watch the video. You didn't watch the video because that wasn't stock footage, and
Yeah.
I know because I ain't a stock footage model. I tried. They weren't interested."
You might be on fetish.com.
Oh dear, sweet salty Christ on a crap cracker. Okay, so uh looking at some comments, should we address those? Mega Wilderness has said no one's going to pay $15 a month for juice. Well, there are Electrify America already has membership plans, and I think EVgo might as well. So I would I would disagree with that conclusion. What do you think?
I was reading my comments.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you got me at that one moment that I actually had a comment and I said, "Oh, let me look at this." And then you turned and looked at me and said, "What do you think?" And I'm like, how do I bullshit my way out of this one?
So, do you think
7.
people would? Do you think people would pay the $15 a month for a membership to get a
Yeah.
discount?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because that's something that already exists with other charging networks. And if they don't, great, just use it as you use it and pay more. You
hmm
probably only have to use it 2 or 3 times a month to break even or do better.
People sign up for memberships that cost them $9 a month to save them X amount of dollars all the time. It's
Right.
it's very very common. It's very very annoying also for certain things like that because you've got the member price. But it is what it is. But you are getting something worth value because if you're taking up 2 damn spots with your Mustang, maybe you should pay a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Or if
Absolutely.
you park horizontally across 3 spots.
So, one comment we got here was they could just ship the cars, the Model 3s for Hertz from China. And I assume there would
Your
be
issues.
issues. There'd be obstacles. First of all, there's the import tax. And second of all, I think it'd have to go back through testing. I think it would have to go all the way back through testing.
They are made to different specifications. Whether
Mm.
it could be a steering wheel. I mean,
Hmm.
you got right hand, left hand drive cars. You've got to change your line for those things. But different markets require different safety uh, requirements. Uh, whether it could be side marker lights have to be a certain size, anything like that. And
Right.
if they made any changes on anything to get into a certain market, then they have to change it back because it may not fit the right profile for moving it. I could be
Right.
wrong, and the cars could be just set up, and it's like, oh well, let's just put the postage stamp for the U.S. on this one. Maybe that easy, but it's just like
Yeah.
here in the United States, California has to get special cars
Right.
because they have
And part of it
requirements.
is part of the Hertz order is going into Europe, so those cars will be made in China. So part of the 100,000 is already going to be made in China,
That's true.
but I assume the majority are going to be delivered and made in the US.
When you
Jeff
start averaging it out, it's not that much more that they would have to do
uh
because you're
what
splitting it between 2 soon to be 4 factories.
right. Well, except that the Model 3 is only made in
But it doesn't matter. It takes some of the load off of the Fremont
sure,
factory that are building Model Ys because now they could build
sure,
those Model Ys in Austin.
right. Um Jeff says, "How can you give discounts when you're sold out for months?" Yeah. Yeah. And 100,000 cars over 14 months, that's only what, 7,000 cars a month?
Remember, I need a
Something like
calculator.
that, 6, 7,000. Boy, that's still a lot though.
Yeah,
Boy, that's beautiful. But that's only a week, 6, 7 days of production. Boy, that is a lot. Boy, that is a lot. And remember, Tesla's only sold like 2 million cars ever. So this represents 5% growth over that, which is a bit on the ginormous side,
Yeah.
if I say so myself. Um, Brian Rashetsky has said that he also just signed up for the Hertz a profile, I guess we'll call it, a Hertz account. Um, yeah, I imagine the reaction to this was bigger than Hertz had bargained for.
Yeah, I don't think they expected this at all. And hey, Brian, how you doing? Haven't seen any of your drone footage lately. I don't know why I'm not getting notifications, if there has been any.
He's
Uh,
in Colorado, I think. He
oh,
posted yesterday with some neat footage from out of town.
oh, nice, nice.
Go ahead.
Speaking of out of town, I'll be down in Mexico tomorrow. I'm going to be looking for some of those factories down there that are making the parts for the Mach-E, and I'm going to see what I can do, or the Mustang-E, and see what sources I can find out. No flyovers though. I'm not doing any flyovers in Mexico.
I
Let's see.
imagine the rules are different in different places.
They are, but in Mexico, the rules are. I just made up this rule, and this is the rule we're going to follow. So
Okay.
you got to be careful there. Mopar
So
Dan, I guess, is two timing. Are you getting that? Did Mopar Dan
uh,
say that he's two timing
I
us?
do
He's
see I'm now subscribed thanks to Bear's Link.
okay. He's
Welcome,
watching.
Mopar Den.
He's watching both of our channels at the same time. I hope that's not
That
confusing.
sounds that sounds exhausting.
It does.
Uh, but I tell you, when Zach and Jesse from Now You Know went to the Cybertruck event, they both live streamed separately, and I did put both of them up, and it was neat because then they connected to each other again, and then it was just a lot of fun. But again, it was definitely exhausting. Uh, does Hertz operate in Asia or Australia? If so, then those would come from Shanghai as well. I don't know if they do or what the plan
They,
would be,
they
but
would. Wait a minute. If they're Australia's right-hand drive, isn't it?
yeah, but it comes from Shanghai.
Yeah. So, but they make all the right-hand drive cars, so that would have to come from there, right?
Well, Fremont no longer exports except to Canada.
Right, because they're not doing the right-hand drive cars anymore. Because why have both factories having to
Right.
make changes in the line
Right.
like that?
I agree. I agree. Rumor China made Model Y is running at 14,000 units a week. Based on the size of the phase 2 expansion, I would not doubt it. It is big, but it's nothing compared to Giga Texas. So when some of the analysts are looking at it and estimating, oh, we're going to assign a production value to the upcoming Giga Texas in Berlin of, we'll just say, 800,000 units a year. I don't I don't think that's right. I don't think
Yeah.
that's I think especially if you get the 4680s running and the Cybertruck going, that's going to be cranking out of that factory like Jeeps, like the original GPs, because it's simple.
Well,
Simple.
what's the full built out? Didn't they say it's like 2 or 3 million cars coming out of the entire site in Austin a year?
Who's they? I've definitely seen that number, and I think that's the correct number, but I don't think that's an official word from Tesla.
Not sure either.
And so because my tracker is winding down, I'm running out of things to count. Last week I asked my audience, what should I compare the size to? I'm American, so I just can't use metric. We've already done how many Walmarts is it? How many IKEAs? How many Home Depots? How many ping pong tables? How many hamsters? So I got some really great suggestions like, is it bigger than an Amazon warehouse? How many malls of America? By the way, what's your guess on those two?
A gazillion? No,
So
it
the
depends on the
world's
size.
biggest Amazon the world's biggest Amazon warehouse is under construction in Austin.
How big?
And if you add 4 million square feet,
Oh, so
and
two.
if you add that to Mall of America, it's still smaller than Giga Texas.
Okay. So how big's a geometris? I mean, if you want to get metric, kind of like maybe you get a
Yeah.
metris.
Well, we're using the metro system. Did
It's
you
a
just
play.
say that the Mach E is a Mexican car?
Yeah, it's made in Mexico.
Yeah, it's Eche en Mexico. Let's see. Let's see.
With no union labor, so they will not get the full tax rebate.
Boy, this whole process is frustrating. And a lot of people are trying to, people, buyers, companies are trying to plan around something that changes every 5 seconds. And the uncertainty has a cost.
Well,
And it's
it,
not just our sanity.
it's going to keep changing when special interests have their say in this instead of the people.
Jeff just pointed out, Jeff Songster, and Ford is setting up a factory in Tennessee that will likely be non union also,
Yes.
affecting rebates too, potentially.
Well, that is I believe those are battery factories, but you are
Oh, yeah,
going,
yeah.
yeah, you're going to see these car manufacturers go, we are not going to build factories in states unless they're right to work states because
Mhm.
I mean, why
Right,
would you? I, I,
right.
okay, so the consumer loses $2,500 on the rebate. And if they're all doing it, they all lose it and they all go, they kind of just shrug and they keep moving on. But they're going to be saving millions and millions, maybe even billions over 10 years, 20 years by not going to these union states.
Right. Well, the biggest problem I see is that these uh, EV credits are so massive, and uh, the bill does not reflect that budget.
Yeah.
So it's going to there's an imbalance there
Oh, yeah.
that's
Because
going to cause
if there's no cap on it, except until it gets to what, like 50% or whatever they've changed it to, 50% of all cars sold, and then
right.
how do you go? Well, it's worth $800 billion. Well, how do you know that? Because who's getting what? There's different amounts. So
And their production estimates are comically low. So we are almost out of time, Bear. Why don't we
look at that.
remind everybody this is the first episode of Fast Charging Podcast with BnB, all things EV. Normally it's on Tuesdays. This Tuesday we had a bit of technical difficulties and it did not go well. I would say unmitigated disaster. And there was a cascade of technical issues, which we have clearly spent the last 2 days resolving. And I think this went well. And there's still room to improve and grow, which we will do. It's simulcast, so check us both out. We've got people like Den who are watching both streams at once because we offer a different perspective from the same feed.
And what Brian was saying is, yes, we do offer different perspective. We don't always agree, and I can't agree when Brian's wrong. So, of course, I'm going to give my perspective. But we're going to be here on every Tuesday, 4 p.m.
Mhm.
And we need your support. We need you guys to keep watching and tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. We'll make improvements if there's quality issues. If you want me to wear a hat or you want Brian to wear a mask, whatever's necessary. Feel free to send us topics that you want to go over, and if we have some sort of knowledge on it, we'll share what we know. And I want to thank
Absolutely.
everyone for watching, and don't forget to
Uh,
check out
Real
Brian's
quick,
channel.
I do need to. I've got one more super chat. I need to thank JSJOKN. I don't know if that's uh, a name or how to pronounce it, or is it IS? Thank you so much. Your super chat is greatly appreciated. I was gonna do Spanish and then I gave up halfway through.
Good,
That's
good.
uh, that's something I normally would cut out of an actually produced video, but we're live.
Yeah. God, am I
So yeah,
sweating
thank you
over
guys.
here?
Yeah, oh, that's right. You're in the desert. I am
Okay.
in the swamp, I guess.
You've got a
The
jacket on.
I do have a jacket on.
I'm not even
I got
wearing
a heater.
pants. It's so hot in here.
I could have gone my whole day without knowing that. So don't forget to subscribe to both channels. And I thank all you guys for hanging out with us and all that. And because I'm on my side here, I'm going to slap up my Patreon page just to thank all of the wonderful patrons.
All right.
There, do you
And
want to say anything on the way out the door?
yeah, I do. I want to say that if I was more prepared, I'd be slapping up my Patreon account so that I could thank all my patrons. And I do appreciate you guys. A couple of people have mentioned the super chats on this side are not working because you know what? I haven't done too much live streaming, but I'm going to get that looked at. And by Tuesday, we'll be able to hopefully figure that out. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't to both of our channels because we're both going to have interesting and odd content related to EVs and alternative energy because those are our topics. So, hey, thanks everyone for watching.
Talk to you guys next week.
All right, bye bye.
Okay, I'm off. How about you?
I'm not off because I found the delay to be about 1 minute. That if I click it, it's going to cut off about 1 minute off the end. Isn't that what you told me once?
So what I did is instead of hitting end stream on here on YouTube, I hit it on OBS and then it works better.
It may work better, but that's not where it worked.
Right. 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 Better is not